Okay, so let's go and take a look at my way of playing and creating a club DNA or playing style DNA for the clubs I manage in Football Manager. Actually, this is the first time I actually do this, and it's super fun because it gives me a much more global approach on how to implement playing ideas and tactical ideas into the game. Just to disclaim everything, this is not based on what works best in the match engine, but it's based on what works best in my belief of good football and good playing, and how I would try to come from realistic football coaching and tactical approaches to implementing those in Football Manager, just to have that said. Also, this is definitely not some sort of plug and play and win the league kind of situation, because the tactic or the whole playing style is based on a lot of what my players can do, and a lot of what I brought in, and I bought players exactly for this structure and for the way I want them to play. Yeah, that's basically it. I chose Dortmund because, first of all, it's one of my favorite teams. Second of all, you do have a certain amount of money at the beginning. I'm on my old PC at the moment, so it's gonna take a while to change from A to B if I click anything. But yeah, you have a bit of money to start with, so I had the option to bring in a few players. And let me just check. I don't think I sold anyone, except I sold Prince Arning. He's a great future prospect, but he's more of an attacking left wing back, and my approach does not look for anyone on the left side to run down the flanks from deep. So I turned him into money. I think there's also some sort of percentage of next sale. Really important is Pablo Torre. He's one of the most important players, or one of the best players you can buy from my approach, I think. As he also already has a lot of really important player traits, because my tactic or the whole approach is built on player traits as well. It works better the more player traits that fit to the system a player has. There is also Joan Gonzalez, who's super interesting for the classical Sergio Busquets role in Pep Guardiola's Barcelona style. This trait is great. Tries to play way out of trouble. You never saw Busquets getting stressed. He's extremely pressing resistant, and this is what Juan does as well. Like, when you get pressure, he has a good composure, he has good decisions, his dribbling is okay already, he has good vision, good passing, but also good positioning, good tackling, good marking. So he's basically made for this spot, winning balls, winning second balls, playing layoff passes and keeping possession, regaining possession, because the whole system is built up around possession. Let's look at the tactic first, so we can go through everything else later. First of all, let's look at the instructions. Balance, this varies a lot. Actually, no, it doesn't. If I have possession over 65-70%, I tend to go on a positive approach. If I'm protecting a lead, I go back to cautious approach. That's basically it. In possession, we play a fairly narrow game. Play out of defense because we want, especially our left center back, to build up the play. He has the permission to, in a perfect world, he would dribble up to the defensive midfield areas and be like a extra triangle right here. So we would have like a triangle. He doesn't do it in the match engine as often as I want, because if I put him as a libero, it's too aggressive. But let's get to the roles later. The left fullback is inverted fullback defense. That's why we don't have an overlap on the left, and we don't actually tell them where to play. The low crosses is only if I'm playing with a false 9. If Girassi is playing up front as a complete striker, I go with the mixed crosses. Work ball in the box always stays. Tempo goes down as closer as we get to the end of the match if we're leading. Also tempo goes down. Tempo goes down if we are up 2 or 3 goals. Then we take it down. Time wasting, on the other hand, goes up in the same kind of way. In transition, we have counter press, and this one is interesting because I keep it on sometimes just at the beginning. If I see my players losing the ball too much, and there's actually a good example coming up in the game against Bayern Munich, I think, where I took it off quite early because my players won the ball, made an aggressive run to the opposition area, lost the ball again. We wanted to keep the possession though, so I took this down. This is really always reacting to what the opposition does. Counter press basically stays on all the time. Slow pace down only if we want to protect the lead. This one is basically always on. I trust my goalkeeper. He's good with the ball, so he can play these long balls to the fullbacks. They are risky though, because if the other opposition has good anticipation and quick wingers, they can intercept the ball and have a good run to my goal. Out of possession, we go as high as possible. We do a lot of trigger pressing, and we prevent the short goalkeeper distribution. This actually is, for me, one of the best ways to regain possession, because we have quite tall players here, and with the fullback as well. So we got 4 players in the back who are strong in the air. We got these 3 players with good anticipation, and this player with a good positioning. So long balls get, like, if we prevent the goalkeeper short distribution, they have to play it long. One of those 3 will probably win the first header, put it up front, and then it's on. Oh wait, that wasn't. Then it's on my defensive midfielders and my central midfielders to pick up that loose ball, and that works quite well. Obviously, you need the players in your system to do that. Also, you need quick players up front, because as soon as they decide to hit it long, they need to rush back, because they put up the pressure up front first. Trap inside. This is underlined by my opposition instructions, because why do I want to trap inside? It's quite obvious. We got a lot of players inside. If we play with a false 9, we even got one more. So we usually have more players than the opposition inside, and we have more chances of winning the ball here. also a better position to go into a counter-attacking situation, because if we win the ball here and the wingers who are supposedly staying wide will have room ahead of them where we can play the ball in, which doesn't always happen, but it does happen and it feels good when it does. So the opposition instruction to reinforce this is quite simple. We have positions. Everyone on the right flank is shown on the left foot. Everyone on the left flank is shown on the right foot, just so we force them to cut inside. And the central defenders, except this, the one in the middle, the central defender's left is shown on the right, and the central defender right is shown on the left. The idea behind this is, let's see. The idea behind this is, if the ball is here, he is pressured to play the ball here, he is pressured to play the ball here, he is pressured to play the ball back here, and we got a trap right here. And we can win the ball or regain the possession. We also make it super difficult for those two to reach one of those players who are actually dangerous for us. When that happens, we do get in trouble, and we do get in trouble with this formation. As I said, it's not the all-winning title tactic, it's just exactly the philosophy of play I wanted to play. So that's basically it. Let's look at the player instructions. We got a sweeper, keeper, add attack. This is necessary if you want to play a high press, high defense line. Kobel is great to do this. I have not told him to do anything extra. He's just amazing at this position. The inverted fullback, he's really important because he complements the back two whenever we are in attack. So we have a back three, and this keeps security. And this player is basically told to play like a full center back, like a really conservative, defensive-minded center back, like fewer risky pass. We want to keep possession. He, in the best situation, he's here and he lays off the ball over here, or to the extremely creative central back over here. Or we have him coming deep and he receives the ball. But there's no over-the-top, crazy through ball kind of thing coming from him. He's only there to regain possession, keep it, play it safe, complement the back three. Which means, let's look at him again. Fewer risky pass, dribble less, shoot less often, mark tight. And also, which is really important, I'm trying to teach him. This is actually bad, likes to switch ball to the wide areas, which is it's a cool trait, but it doesn't really fit my system. So I'm looking for another player who can actually, who actually doesn't have this trait. I want him to stay back at all times. So this is the next trait coming for him, or for this position. That's what we need here. The central defender, the ball-playing defender, is quite simple on the individual. Yeah, I forgot the word. Sometimes I tell him to mark tight. Sometimes I tell him to trigger press less. If I see that he's getting dragged out of position too often, this is what I do. Sometimes I tell him to dribble more. Sometimes I take it off, depending on the opposition. If I see there's like a really high press, like aggressive high press, I might go for the dribble more, because if he passes by that first pressing line, we have a really great situation for our attacking, and he is quite capable of dribbling. He has also the brings ball out of defense trait, which is great. He does try long passes, which I really don't like too much, but it's okay on this point because he got great vision, great passing, good technique. I'm not gonna tell him to unlearn that because he could actually help us score goals with this, especially against high pressing oppositions. So I'm gonna leave this for him. Once I have to replace him, I will look for a play without tries long range passes. Yeah, we got the ball playing defender right here. Let's go on to the next one. I'm really sorry about the loading times. So we got Niklas Süle right here. He's, if you want to compare it to the old Barcelona, so this is Piqué doing all the fancy stuff with the ball, and this is Puyol giving Piqué the opportunity to have the ball because he keeps regaining it. Like, he tackles hard, he marks tight. He should not take too many risks. Sometimes I take this off, take fewer risks, but to be fair, Süle is quite a good player, so he can also do that, complement the taking risk. Then we go to the wing back, the complete wing back. This guy is my provider of width over here. We got one issue with Couto. He got the crosses from deep trait, which makes him cross from this area, which is a good thing. We score quite a lot of goals because Baya is a tall player. Guirassy, who I usually use here when we are not playing with when we are playing with a false nine. Our two tall players, especially Guirassy, also is strong in the air. So if we have crosses from deep coming to the second post, and these guys come in from here, being covered by a defense by a fullback of the opposition, there's usually a mismatch in height, so they usually win that header over here. So it's actually a good trade. I don't really like it generally for every player, so I would not search for a player with that trade. The next one I'm searching for is just a plain complete wing back who goes down the line with great dribbling, great pace, great aggression. Like all these players on my wings, like the attacking players on the wings, they need a lot of aggression as well because they are the gegenpress players, including him and those two. So yeah, they need a lot of aggression as well. Couto, yeah, there's nothing much to say about him actually. The only really important part as well is he gets a lot. Early crosses, not crosses from deep. Sorry about that. I like the look for pass rather than attempting to score. This is a great trade. Tries long range passes I don't like. It doesn't fit the system, so we will have to replace him sooner or later. Still, he's doing a good job. One of the most important trades in my system with players like with him, with Couto, with the mid three, with the attacking, is play 1-2s. We need a lot of 1-2s. If you remember or if you ever had the chance to witness the amazing Tiki-Taka by Barcelona around 2013, 14, 15, 16, that was a lot of one-touch, pass, goal, pass, goal. They did this, like, yeah, just to keep the possession, to get the opposition tired. So that's one of the most important traits I'm trying to train to everyone. Really important position. We've talked about this before. I could have gone with a halfback because that's basically what Busquets used to play. I did not want to go with a halfback because I want him to be to pick up the balls over here. The loose balls, like there's a lot of scenes where we go into the area or we push into here into dangerous positions on the pitch. We lose the ball, but they have so much pressure that they can just clear it. And these clearance and these second balls, if we pick them up, we have a great chance of scoring because it's a situation where the opposition is not controlled in order. They are in disorder and they just are reacting to things. And we are controlling the chaos basically. So we need this player to be more higher up the pitch, picking up these balls, laying them off quickly with good passing, good decisions and good vision. That's why I refrained from taking a halfback who would stay a bit deeper. Still tell them to hold the position. I use, if you see, a central midfielder, defensive midfielder. I use like these roles that don't really have any hard-coded instructions, so I can decide how they play. And I tell him to dribble more. Same as with Schlotterbeck. If he gets a lot of strong, aggressive pressing, he needs to be resistant against the pressing. If he beats the first guy attacking him, we have space, and that's his role. That's what Busquets did in perfect excellence, beating that first pressing line with a dribble, with like a body feint, and then laying the ball off to Xavi, to Iniesta, maybe to Messi, who came deep, and that's when the whole craziness started to roll upon the opponent. So this role is crucial. Shoot less often. It's not an offensive player. He's not trying to score. He's trying to get the people who create the chances into their positions. That's why he holds positions and he marks tight. And the player trait that I want him to have is come deep to get the ball, because I do want him to drop deeper, but I do want him to push up again as soon as we push up. And tries to play way out of trouble. It's amazing because it's high risk, but the whole tactic is based on high risk, and it pays off if we play the way out of trouble. The central midfielder on the right is the more deeply orientated one, the more defense orientated one. I don't have the exact perfect player for this position yet. I like Pascal Gross because he has a lot of technical skill and still is not completely useless against the ball. I mean, he has 14 position, which is good. He has 11 marking, he has 11 tackling, he got some bravery, he got some aggression. He's actually still okay in regaining the ball. The positioning is important for me, and his good or strong traits are all really, really helpful. You got good decisions, you got really good, like good vision, good great passing. He's not the best dribbler. He can dribble, but he's not the best dribbler, and he is not supposed to dribble. I don't like moving him into channels at this point, even though he is my player to do the horizontal runs and to cover the pitch more like this, slowly. I like, for him, I actually do like the trait arrives late at the opposition area. He could do the kill ball. I don't necessarily need him to, but he should also have the 1-2s, plays 1-2s. On the other hand, here we got the Iniesta type, the one pushing forward. Also have him mark tight. I have almost all the players mark tight because Uh, as I remember right, I think Barcelona had a lot of one-on-ones during their prime with Pep Guardiola. I think they played a lot of man-orientated defense, one-on-ones, hard tacklings, and hard pressure. So I tried to kind of recreate that with Mark Tide. Yeah, so Julian Brandt, he's the one pushing more forward. He has to pass it shorter though, I think. Yeah, pass it shorter as well. He has to pass it shorter, take more risk, because I want him to be really creative. I want him to dribble more. I want him to dribble into the opposition box. I want him to dribble out of the pressure and get plays done. Also, I want him to run wide with the ball because we don't have someone coming from deep. So we need to get him to support our winger on this side and get further forward, of course. Roam from position. He got all the creative freedom he wants. I would love him to have plays 1-2s, tries kill ball often, gets into opposition area, looks for pass rather than to score. That would be like the perfect traits for him. My wingers, pass it shorter, shoot more often, mark tight, and this one is just pass it shorter, tackle harder, mark tight. No. So the difference is basically this is the scoring outlet. He wants to make that extra run to score, and he's encouraged to, and he's keeping with for a long time. Actually, I do have him cut inside with the ball. This, I don't know why it's not here, because I want him to stay wide, and as soon as he arrives here, I want him to cut inside and create for the other ones. He needs to be in here because Julian Brandt will be around here, so we need him to roam from the go away from that position. Gross will stay deeper, so we have that spot free at the moment. So he comes in here, and the central forward is shoot more often and mark tight, the complete forward. And when he is played by Reina, we get the false 9 over here, and the false 9 actually has no extra. Sometimes I have mark tight, tackle harder. That's all there is basically to this system. And now let's look at how I implement that into the club's philosophy. First of all, we go into the youth and we take a look at the coaching stuff. I created this view, DNA coaching stuff, and I'm looking at playing mentality, preferred formation, pressing style, and personalities. And of course, we're trying to be more adventurous and attacking with everyone in the club, and we want to have our preferred formation with everyone in the club. There's a few who are not quite there with the formation, but that's because they're actually too good to be sacked. To Dortmund 2, we got the same issue, same thing with the staff. You notice the stuff is even better on the personalities, which is because I want, and Dortmund 2, personality training. I will actually creating a short list of players who have great personalities, who I will implement in the second team to start mentoring groups. At the moment, because the lack of players, I only have one mentor. Here it's Alexander Meyer, who is professional, and he's trying to better these personalities. In the youth, individual training for each player is based on their position, and just a few players have extra focus. In the second team, we start position and player traits. So I want these players to come through and be basically made for my tactic. That's it for so far. I will log off now and come back. Well, no, let's do this. I will stop the video right now, make a cut here, and edit a few match scenes into the end of the video so you can see what the tactic actually does against oppositions, and I will explain some of the changes I made in the matches and why I did them. How I said, how I promised, let's look at a few games. This one was a bad start into the season, probably a lot of cause to not being too good in team cohesion and tactic familiarity. Also, I think I had to use Savitsa because we didn't have Torre yet and Gross was injured, so this, I don't know, we did have Torre, but Reina was injured and Gross was injured, so we had to use Savitsa here, and he's unfortunately not made for this role, and it showed in this match. So I'm gonna not go more in depth about this match, so we can start with this one. You can see strong possession overload or domination on possession. They did come close to goal. They had, I think they had one really good chance where we just got lucky. So let's go and watch the extended highlights, and I will narrow it down to the most important ones because this might be a lot to see. Yeah, that's crazy. That actually became the, I think, goal of the month. And let's go back because this is beautiful football. Let's take a look at some different roles in here. First off, the number 6, Busquets role. He comes in hard and wins the ball, and then tries to always give you opportunities to play with him. For some reason we completely avoid this position in this build-up. Still managed to score a beautiful goal out of it. Yeah, that's the type of football we want to see. Short passing. Actually, there's one pass in this whole thing I didn't like, and it was the one from the left back to Julian Brandt. Wait, where does it come? Was it already? No, it's this one. Why do you play that high ball? You can just play here. I like the risk, like taking risk, playing it deep. Also, you can see that we have that's why it's always important in this whole setup to have players who have great first touch, great technique, and great dribbling, because if you see Brandt, if you see Reina, they both have to deal with pressure and get out of there with the dribble. Here, that dribble, pass deep, that dribble, dribble, dribble. And now this run is crucial, cutting inside. I was actually mad at the beginning when I saw this scene, I remember now. I was actually unhappy that once Reina got through here, this is the perfect opportunity because he's quick. And well, Wolf is okay, but he's not as quick for this run. Just go down here, and it's a winger on attack. He should get there, and then the touch would be easy to just pass that ball down here. And also, another point about this tactic. This is a great situation to talk about this. We got the back three right here. Stability. We get the defensive midfielder, maybe a bit too deep, but he could either be here or a bit more here orientated to give like a security. But the most important part on this scene is actually Brandt. He's a bit too low. He should try to push here, because we have wide wingers, like they are really wide. And what does that do? It puts pressure on the fullbacks. They have to make a decision. Do they stay deep or do they stay close and keep that gap identical? Or do they go wide and cover here? If they go wide, they open this gap. So if, for example, unfortunately I can't move these, but if Brandt came here and Adeyemi came here, we would have two through ball options that they could never come back to, because this gap on both sides, because both of the fullbacks decided to keep an eye on the wingers. So they opened this gap up so wide. So if like, he has an eye on this winger is super quick, this gap is open, then the through ball, this is not difficult. That's not a difficult ball. That's not even a risky ball. He just needs the right timing to pass the ball somewhere here. He gets through, we can pass it or we can finish it. If Brandt is here, he gets through, Brandt gets through, he can just lay it off or finish it. And even the possibility of Brandt being right here, going deep, playing the through ball like this would be there. So having white wingers, it's also a thing that in modern football is not too often or too common, because many systems rely on compact, tight formations. But also an idea by Guardiola is to keep these, or actually it came from Johan Cruyff, I think, to keep the wingers as close to the outline as possible in order to stretch the defense, to make it like get those guys. They have to make a decision in short time and decide: will I stick to the player? Will I open up the space? Will I give opportunity for deep runs? Or will I stay close? If I stay close, we can like imagine him being here. Like if he stays here, this ball is easy. He can get through and he can come in. So this is a great way to put pressure on an opponent without running deep. It's just staying wide. Stay wide, wide, wide. Okay, enough tactic talk here. We liked this goal. This goal was great. With a lot of good stuff. and yeah, the season kind of started out well in that moment. Let's go with the next scene. I mean, that's just beautiful football. And what happened, we win the ball and we don't overstress the counter. At the Yimi, I thought in the beginning he will just try to dribble down this flank and he would have had no chance to get through, but he just stopped the ball, laid it off to Zule, and we played it around. And at the end, of course, that final through ball by Torre, it's super difficult, but the timing was great. We had a good chance. That's just the way we want to play football. Those are the balls to the fullbacks that I talked about earlier. I'm not sure if I will change that because most of the time these balls put a lot of pressure on my players. On the other hand, we did a great job combining from here to here, like combining, playing the ball out to the other side and getting out of pressure. I don't know why he took that shot, but besides that, I really like that build-up. Yeah, we had to change. We had to put take out Adeyemi because he's had a yellow card, so I had to put Brandt here, who's not a classic typical winger, so I still played him as one, I think. And I had to bring in Mecha for that number 8 role. Those are the scenes I mean with getting the second balls. It's so important. Like if you have a long ball and your central backs or your defensive midfielder wins a header, it's so important to have players picking up that ball, like having the aggression. That's the big chance. I mean, that's a huge chance. Having the aggression, the anticipation, the positioning to actually be there and picking up that ball. It's so important. I think it's happening now again. Yeah, right there. And then pick up the ball, secure it, and lay it off with a simple pass to someone more creative. And that's actually how we score. I think that's it. I think there's not much to come now. Yeah, that's just that's it. Yeah, that was just a big shot somewhere else. Yeah, okay. So that was that. Now we go to the Gladbach game. Let's see how the possession was here. We still managed to keep the possession high. The lineup, Zule is back. I switched up Bayer and Adeyemi, and I had a reason for this. Yeah, I think it's because Gali seems to be the more attacking wingback, and I wanted Adeyemi, who's the more attacking role and who's much quicker to put much pressure on here. And Elvedi is more like he's probably gonna play like inverted fullback, just like Benzabaini. So Baya will have more space here, and Adeyemi will have more space here and be more dangerous. So that was the idea. At the end, we won with a penalty, so I'm not sure if that idea was too good. I think this game was actually. I know that was. We should have won better and bigger. We had a good game. Can I watch the key highlights? Yes, let's just watch the key highlights here. Yeah, that's beautiful offside goal. And that's basically the play. Like, go with the risk, play deep, great. But it was offside. We got lucky here. I think that. These attacks are really, really good. I love them. It's like this first touch, play deep, go into the dribble, see that run from the outside to the box, and then play that through ball. Unfortunately, Baya, he's still young, and he's not the best finisher yet. I hope he can get better finishing, because he could score so many goals from these situations. Yeah, that's a penalty, okay. We don't need to watch the penalty, he scores, he puts it in, and that's it. Okay, that's this game. So let's go and look at this Union Berlin game, because that was interesting. So what happened here is Union Berlin did an amazing job on the high press. They put us under pressure, and I had to play Itter instead of Schlotterbeck, because Schlotterbeck was not fit, and I have to take care of his fitness. He can't play every game, and I brought in Itter because he's like a good how you say, rotation option for Schlotterbeck without being expensive. I don't know, I think I got him for $1 million or something. And like, I actually don't know why all the arrows are going down. They're going up in a few anyway, again. So he's not gonna change the world on the pitch, but he has cool traits, like plays, like tries to play way out of trouble and play short simple passes. I made him like learn it, and he came by for 657. No. 675. Oh my god, my brain was. Okay, anyway, he's a good idea if you need like left center back who got a decent tempo, a decent build-up play, and the right attributes for this type of football. Anyway, yeah. So we're going to this Union Berlin game. They did a great job on the high press, and it has actually, this game has my favorite scene about this tactic, and it's this goal. And we're gonna watch that right now. We're gonna watch the key highlights, and this goal is like a great example on how this tactic can be extremely strong and extremely vulnerable at the same time, and it just depends on one decision of one player if it's strong and overwhelming or if it's breakable. And in this situation, it's Torre who does makes the wrong decision after being put in a great situation by Ita. It's a difficult situation, but it's a great situation as well. And it's exactly the situations I want to see when it comes to building up the play. Yeah, but we're gonna see it's gonna be quite early in the game because they had like one or two situations where they're strong and aggressive pressing came back at us, and they almost went up 2-0, so we had to change things, and I will tell you about it. Just look that Girassi at the moment is playing, starting at the left wing, and Reina is starting at the false 9. That's also a thing I had to change during the game, and quite early in the game, in order to get back and control the game again. But let's take a look right now. So we start off with a free kick. Skov is actually a great free kick taker. Yeah, that was a good free kick. No. This looked really dangerous, but it says Kobe gathers the ball easily. That was the first big chance, and that was here like unnecessary losing ball. And from this situation, we're coming to my favorite scene. So the build-up. Let's look at this build-up. This is exactly what we want. Actually, we have a completely wide, stretched field. The fullbacks are hugging the lines. The strikers, they could, or the attacking midfielders, they could be more out to the line as well, in my opinion. And look at the high press. Like Union Berlin is trying to nullify our build-up, but due to our wide shape, we have options. So Ita could, he has a strong left foot, turn and play that ball, and there's a lot of space. Like, this would be a lot of running for Union Berlin to close this down. He could play over here, which would be playing into the pressure, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4 against 1, 2, 3, 4 players on this side of the pitch. So this is a dangerous part. He could also play that deep ball to the pressure and have him undo the pressure, like with the dribbling, or my favorite thing would be first touch and we go down the line. Let's see what happens. Yes. What happens? He tries to like, the Ita does everything right. He passes deep. Uh, Unfortunately, instead of using the first touch to play it outside, he stops the ball. Union Berlin does amazingly good to put pressure on here. Like, look at how quickly they have him surrounded. Closed. He's completely closed down. And he's probably with his back to here. And also this Skov is also doing a great run because he's closing down the easy pass. And actually he could still use this option, but the pressure is so high. So I'm not even mad that the last pass doesn't work out. I'm only mad that the first decision was the wrong one, trying to control this ball instead of just putting it out here. And because if we put it out here, we could have overrun the defense. And that's what I meant with, there's like a fine line between being extremely successful with simple passes and being extremely vulnerable with the same simple passes. This scene showed us we turned out to be really vulnerable in this situation. So despite this situation, Union Berlin was overpowering us and we had no depth in our game, so we had to switch it up. And the most important switch was putting Reina on the left wing and putting Girassi as complete forward in the middle and telling the team to pass into space because Union Berlin was pressing so high. And the first scene after that is this one. So what happens, we pass into space, we have a little bit of luck and we score. And sometimes you just have to really analyze and watch the first 15 minutes of the game in full just to see what's going on. If I would have just watched key highlights, I would have never known that the biggest issue is our play to the front. And I think it continues with the, no. Yeah, from that moment on we were quite in control of the game because we forced Union Berlin to drop deeper and deeper, and that's what we need. We need that space to play. I must say that Ita did like amazing in this game with his passes, with his deep passes. There's like, let's look at the statistics. I don't know if he even had like one missed ball, and this is just pure genius by Brandt. That's just pure genius. But still, you had that deep run by the forward that we didn't have in the first half, and that changed the game completely. So, yeah, always keep in mind if something is not working for you, go and watch the full match for a few minutes, see what's going on, because sometimes it's really obvious and sometimes it isn't, but if it's really obvious, just adjust it and you can see results. And often it's even small adjustments. Yeah, that's offside, so no worries. Yeah, often it's just small adjustments like changing a player role and tweaking maybe one or two team instructions. So yeah, I think we can leave this match now because the most important parts are said and done. So let's go to the highlight match. This was really frustrating actually. also a few things I changed. Let me see if I can get those back in my head. So we started with Guirassy up front in this one, which is not always the case. So like it always depends on the opposition, and yeah, that's actually the point. Upamecano and Ito are both under 190. I don't know what that is in feet. Like, if any Americans are watching, I'm sorry. Under 190 meters, centimeters, and around his size. So the decision is these two are huge strikers with a lot of strength. I will go with a false nine and low crosses and trying to get away from them. If we have strikers around the same physical strengths, I will go with a complete forward in the hopes to get these both tied down and involved, so we have more room for our wingers. Let's just go with the goals. We had more possession. To be fair, we had a better game. At one point, it kind of slipped out of our hands. Normally, when I play against Bayern Munich, when I'm in the Bundesliga, I have a good start. They come back and then they overrun us. I don't know what they do to do that, but at some point the match engine is just completely on Bayern. So it's really interesting for us, for me to see that they came back with a 1-1 and then we scored again. This never happened before for me. So we actually did some stuff right in this game. So let's watch the goals. Let's just stick with the goals at this point. And yeah, it was unfortunate because the entire first half felt like we were able to do something here, and Bayern was unbeaten until this. I mean, it's still early in the season, but I think they had conceded 1 goal and scored 19 or something like, and they completely overrun everyone they've faced so far. And then we managed to really get them in trouble. And I think I made one big mistake, which cost us the win, with not man marking Musiala. Like usually I don't man mark players, but Musiala does a great job on the 2-2 assist, so maybe I should have man marked him because he had too much space in that situation. But besides that, I think we can really be happy because comparing the teams and the individual strengths of each player, we are behind Bayern Munich, and if you see the match ratings, the player ratings, we are at least better a bit, if not a lot. And unfortunately, Kane and Musiala had a good game, and that usually is enough to break a team. Yeah, that's football. So here's the first goal. Oh yeah, that's pure genius by Kuto. Yeah, I love that chip ball. That was amazing. I don't know where he got that one from, but it was great. So then, second, that's just bad luck. I mean, that's Harry Kane. He's cold and he knows where to be, but my tackle, winning the ball back and just making it a good pass for Musiala is bad luck. This is also really good play by Adeyemi and Guirassy, and it's a good choice to have Gracie up front in this situation. And now that's Gross not going in hard enough. Maybe I should have had like tackle hard or something on him. Yeah, but still felt like a success in a way, because usually, especially in the first seasons, Bayern just hammers you without a chance. And now I feel quite comfortable because the start in the Liga is great. Um, let's look at the stages. We're third, and it's all down to that first stupid defeat against Wolfsburg, which is, yeah, let's say at least unnecessary, and we do concede too much for now. To be fair, conceding 2 against Bayern and conceding 2 against Leipzig is okay. If you make 4 points out of that two games, that's okay. Conceding 3 against Wolfsburg is not okay. So let's say if everything went well, we should have had like 5 goals against. We're scoring good, which is making me confident. And we beat those most aggressive playing. We didn't beat, we draw Bayern, which is a big win for us at the moment. Okay, so that's basically it. I hope you enjoyed everything. If you have any questions, come down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about your philosophies on the game, and let me know if you have an idea how I can get my wingers to stay even wider and cut inside with the ball, though. Like, do not forget to get into the box, but stay wide. And yeah, have a great one. Thank you so much for watching.